I'm laughing because you're laughing.
Just fucking do it, you son of a
gender
bitch.
confusion. Gender confusion, as these could become permanent. High blood pressure has been reported with borrowed money and other
Dash gas, got your life on the run. You got 99 problems and they all about money. We got 7 militaries, AKs, bats to roll on any motherfuckers who ain't paying us back. Buying, selling, and trading and exchanging. Want stacks to the ceiling, want all of it. Come on, feel me. Especially ballin' if you don't need it, cause it's work instead of living. Quit all your dreaming, just believe me. Live your life as a slave to the pape. Everyone is wondering just how much more they can take of your time. Giving more away. You could get it back. Relax, got Apes on tape. Hey, I'm Bryn.
I'm Jer.
And this is Apes on Tape, the only podcast made for kids
That shouldn't be listening to this podcast.
Yeah, it's probably not appropriate for kids. Today we're talking about money.
Yeah, it's time to put money where our mouths are and talk about money, because money talks, but it can't speak. And we want to give you your money's worth on this podcast, because time is money too.
Yeah.
And money is power. We all have the power to save money up, to raise money, or to put it down on something, to pour it down the drain. We can marry into money. We can run out of money. We can be made of money, or give someone else a run for their money. We can be right on the money, or launder money, rake money in, bet money, throw money. That money might be cash money, funny money, easy money, tight money, seed money, blood money, old money, new money, front money, dirty money, good money, bad money.
Money is everywhere. It's like one of the most pervasive things, I think, in our society.
You can have money to burn, or it can burn you. They say mo money, mo problems, because money is the root of all evil.
Notorious B.I.G.
It doesn't grow on trees, and it can't buy happiness or love, which I guess means those things aren't evil. But money makes the world go around. Is it evil? At the end of the day, money isn't everything, but it's a thing. It's significant, culturally and socially. The existence and present state of money is in a way remarkable. So let's see if we can see the color of our money.
Wow, it's beautiful. I mean, money is definitely not like nothing, because nothing is a little bit tricky to talk about. Money is
easy to talk about.
Yeah, money is definitely like a thing, right? It's
It is the thing.
It's definitely a thing that you can point out.
That's absolutely right.
It's funny that you mention more money, more problems. Do you think that money actually causes more problems?
Off the top of my head, I would say that the answer to that question for me anyways is no.
Mm-hmm. I
don't think it's the money that causes the problems. I think it's the greed that causes the problems.
Yeah, that's probably about accurate. Because when I think of Notorious B.I.G. saying that, I'm thinking that, you know, he just happens to have more problems at that time in his life where he has more money. Yeah. So he's thinking like, the more money I get, the more problems I get. And that actually, I think that Notorious B.I.G. is just like coming of age into like adulthood, because adulthood is riddled with problems. And in that adulthood, I think that money solves lots of problems. Yeah,
money can solve a lot of problems. It's really all about how you use money, whether you're responsible with it or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, we could be trading chickens or whatever the hell, and you could still be, you know, an irresponsible douche.
Yeah,
I could cause a lot of problems for people. And
I could just steal your chickens, or I could say, I'll give you some bread for some chickens later, and then just
take the chickens.
Yeah, take the chickens and take off out of town.
Yeah,
I probably wouldn't be let back in.
That'd be a dick maneuver, gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally, like that sort of stuff is frowned upon.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the history of money, or did you want to talk about some philosophical questions about money?
I don't really mind what we start with. I don't know. I had a couple of interesting like intro concepts that I thought I might bring up. One of which was, so this is a question, I guess, more than anything, an idea that came up in my research. Do you feel sad when you spend money? Do you feel like the departure of money is like not necessarily a traumatizing, but a negative experience for you to like?
I feel like it's a waste of my time. Like when I get a cell phone ticket, like for example, like if I'm driving in my car and I get a cell phone ticket,
mm-hmm.
I feel like I remember this one instance where I got a cell phone ticket. and it was like a bright sunny day, and I was going back from helping this guy, and I got pulled over, and the cop is like literally on his computer, like inside of the vehicle, and all I thought that everything that I had done in the last 3 days, like all the money that I was working toward making, was gone in an instant. Those 3 days meant nothing.
Okay.
Now.
But you don't feel bad when you spend money. Like that's like
I was spending money on the ticket.
Right. But that's more of like a you lost money.
Yeah.
Like that.
I
the
lost money.
Circumstances were like forced you.
I mean, spending money is kind of like losing money, isn't it?
But if you're trading it, if you're going to the grocery store and you're like, I'm gonna buy some groceries, and you get to the till and they're like $50, please. Are you like, oh no, my $50? Or are you kind of
no? That's a really good question,
because the value that you're getting isn't from having the $50. The value is in the grocery cart.
Things. So when it's money well spent, of course I don't feel sad.
Well,
money.
I feel like some people do though.
Do they really?
I don't know, man. I feel like some people are pretty attached to their money.
How can you like? I'm attached to like saving money because I like to have the freedom that goes along with saving some money, or like being able to deal with something later.
Yeah. In
sort of like a free agency kind of way. But I can't imagine like doing like a regular transaction. Like I don't know, like we exchanged bread for chickens, and I really wanted some bread for a chicken, and then getting sad about that exchange.
Yeah, it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
When I give somebody like we have a roommate like sort of economy at the house.
Yeah. Where
if I spend money on stuff that I need, like my new wallet, you were just talking to me about my new wallet, which is the holder of money.
Yeah.
And yeah, I couldn't be happier with spending money on that. It was about finding the time. It was literally, I couldn't believe that I couldn't find the time to buy a wallet.
Yeah.
For 6 months.
But you couldn't find the time because you were so busy making money.
That's so funny. I was having a conversation with somebody about that just today, like before we came here, and he said, I spend all my time making money so that I can buy cool stuff like my Bose speaker system, and I
never use.
And I love music, and I never use it. That's what he said to me, and he's just like, we're like making all the money, but we'll never, like, we just don't enjoy it.
The chair on the beach never comes. You just keep making money.
The chair? What do you mean by the chair on the beach?
Like, people have this idea of like, I'm gonna make all this money, and then I'm gonna live this like luxurious life, and just like, lie on a beach and just whatever the hell, do what I want. And then they don't do that. People don't do that
because you spend a lot of time trying to get to that.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's where buyer's remorse does come from. Is from people like they spend all their time and they like invest. They invest in their money. They invest effort into it, and then they get to a point where that money that they have is so valuable to them because of all that effort that it becomes harder and harder to let go of. And like with small purchases like a wallet, it might not be so substantial, but I do think there might be some people out there who do feel that way even with small purchases.
Well, are they I don't think that they're in this room though.
No,
I wouldn't be able to tell them about you. Hey, if you are one of those people, please write into Apes on Tape.
Yeah, tell us what you think about money.
gmail.com.
Yeah. We want to hear your opinions and your emotional experiences with spending money.
Because I can't really imagine. I don't think that there's any like real investment that I've ever made that I've regretted. But
that's just because you don't take life seriously.
Well, I am an existential nihilist.
Yes, well.
Yeah.
So do you want to go into some history then now?
Sure.
Because I don't really have too much to like for like intro topics.
In philosophy, well, if we're gonna introduce money, I mean everybody knows about money, but the etymology of money actually refers to the place where you would actually mint metal coins, because historically money is tied to the making of metal coins for distribution. So historians believe that metal objects were first used as money as early as 5000 BC, which is a really long time ago, to around 700, right? They don't know when they started necessarily using money, but they know when they were first like minted by kings.
Okay.
Like where they put like the king's seal on it, where that sort of like guarantees the weight and the materials of the coins.
All right.
But we don't know how long metal objects have been.
Of course, it
passed
was the
around.
king. Who would be the gold expert, right? The king.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing actually about the historical perspective on money, is that when you think about wars, and we're still talking about money here because I think that money is very historically linked to wars, and it still is. If you're having traditional wars, they sometimes were like wars of honor. you know, like in the Iliad, where somebody would steal a princess away, or Troy, you know?
Yep.
You know that movie Troy?
Well, I know the story of Troy.
Yeah, that's based on the Iliad or the Odyssey. I think that's the Iliad.
Is it? I thought it was the Odyssey.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, based on the Greek mythology book that I read.
Anyway, so around that time, like there was wars of honor like that, where it was just like you pissed us off, and so we're going to go to war with you. And then later on, it became about actual resources. So you're going into places and you're expanding your territory, and you're like literally raping and pillaging, and you're trying to like get all the resources of that area, and you're trying to do it quickly. So when you're going through these places, and maybe they don't even have money, but you're like assimilating them into your nation, if you can take ownership of all the livestock and sheep and food and stuff like that, and then pay it out to all of your soldiers and your bureaucrats and those sort of people that allow you to continue this war, right? It's a lot faster. It's a better machine.
Yeah.
So some historians tied.
You're kind of oiling the machine with that.
Yeah, exactly. It's used as an efficiency tool for that. Like otherwise, here's the thing about early history, and this can relate back to something more personal about people living in a community or like roommates or things like that. When anthropologists look at societies where the social order, where like, one question. Do you think that our social order is dependent on money?
Our social order is in like our social hierarchy?
Yeah, like our social order. It's the same sort of, it's like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's really hard to say. Like, I want to say yeah, because that's all we know is like is a hierarchical, schema that is very much tied to money. But it could be that even if there was like a resource-based economy or something in the modern world, that there would still be a hierarchy based on just psychology, based on like power and people's
size, strength.
Yeah, people's like ability to coerce,
Mm-hmm.
and genes and all these sorts of things. I think there's going to be a hierarchy no matter what, but I think our structure, our society, is definitely very highly based on money.
Wherever you come from. It's like a democratizing thing, like money is.
Yeah, I mean, like you see people who...
It's like a democratic social order.
Yeah, you see a lot of people who you wouldn't necessarily think are like, oh, this person is obviously like high society. Like
or
they
super fit for natural selection.
Yeah, this person's fit and they're smart and they have everything going for them. Like, no, you see rich ass motherfuckers out there who have like
just
all this money and power.
The ugliest dudes you've ever seen. They don't look like they would naturally like get mates.
I mean, I'm not trying to make any enemies at the top of the pyramid here. But
so you've answered yes. I don't want to make any enemies at the top of the pyramid. Is like a pyramid is an answer yes to the question of do you think we have a social hierarchy that's based on money?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the thing. Like today, as Jeremy just said, our social hierarchy is somewhat based on money. Our social order is based on money. So when we look back at societies whose social orders weren't based on money, like a really, really long time ago, like almost like pre-civilization, like sort of tribal societies, they still functioned really well.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say that Adam Smith, for example, who's a very, very famous economist, he said that money naturally evolves out of bartering, but bartering isn't really natural. Like these societies didn't do like trade and exchange and be like, I'll give you like 2 cows for a pig, like Settlers of Catan, like 3 wheats to a what?
I don't remember shit.
Yeah, 3 wheats to a stone or something.
Well, yeah, you can make whatever trades
you
want, but there were specific trades that were common though.
But yeah, so that's bartering.
Yeah.
Like they apparently, living in these tribal societies, they didn't actually barter with each other.
Yeah.
You would only do that with like a stranger or an enemy or like someone that was exiled for not having good credit.
Wow, today you would like never just barter with a stranger. Like you would never.
You do. You have Craigslist.
I mean, yeah, but like not like person to person. Like you just go to like some random person on the street and like, hey man, I'll give you some this for some this.
Well, money
money has taken that kind of interaction out of the equation a little bit.
Well, cash exchanges today, like at retail, are kind of like bartering because you are saying.
Oh yeah, that's true. They're like that.
But. Yeah, I'll give you this much for like that sort of thing, right? Where you're weighing things against each other. Whereas in these societies, it wasn't like commodity exchange,
Yeah.
it was like the value of money is. The value of money is a commodity, although that's not the type of money that it is. But in those societies, it was just credit.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'll do something for you. I expect you at some time in the future to do something for me. It was just like,
much less formal.
Yeah, it was much less formal. Like, these people all knew each other.
Yeah.
You know? Like, for example, like, Kylie got me this wallet that I was talking about earlier.
Oh, so you didn't even end up buying the wallet?
No, I had no time, as I told you, to like
Holy
buy
shit.
the wallet, which is like, is that an ironic thing to say? Like, I had no time for my money.
But yeah, like, time is money.
For my money holder.
And you didn't have any time or money to buy the wallet.
Yeah, and
Kylie
just goes, like, honestly, like, lots of people in my house, they just go out and they'll like get me shit, and it'll be like days or weeks before like I pay them back, but I always pay them back, and nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
Nobody actually like cares. Like, I've grown up kind of just really hating debt, you know, which is a good thing.
I love debt.
What do you love most about debt?
I love the way it makes me feel, especially at night. I love the way that it's constantly looming over me.
I don't like
in my life.
I don't like that either.
When I'm trying to do other things and enjoy myself, like when I'm recording a podcast and I'm still thinking about student loans somewhere in the back of my mind.
I mean, you'd be triggered by this conversation for sure.
Yeah, why the fuck did you bring this up?
I insisted on doing money as a podcast.
You kind of did.
Yeah. That's too meta. We need to move on from that. But yeah, anyways, like I do actually feel the loom of debt.
Yeah.
That you feel. I just bought like 2 packs of smokes for like various people that I've stolen a lot of smokes from over the course of like months. So I just see how this sort of primordial idea of credit sort of works its way into my life. It's like a more informal way of money. It was like the way of money before. So yeah, so most exchange back in those societies was done by credit, and you know that person, you help with something one time, and then they help you out with something some other time.
So help me out here though. Like, credit was like just like a fiction, like it was just like
it wasn't quantified.
It wasn't quantified. So
yeah.
it was just like, oh, like you loan me these sheep on credit.
Yeah.
And like I'll loan you something on like roughly 2 sheep worths of credit.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Exactly. And I know that you're good for it. Yeah. So, like, for example, somebody will just go get me some slippers.
I mean, it's
and they'll
much
be like,
more
do you
rigid.
want some slippers? And I'll be like, hell yeah. And then, you don't really even think about, like, what the price is.
Yeah.
But you just reciprocate at some time.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Makes sense.
so credit is actually the main thing that money has. You owe something to your neighbor, and they owe something to you. So, like, when we believe that money works, that's what we're believing in.
Yeah.
Is that this money is worth, like, that we're... Actually, it's kind of like outside money, that we know that the people that are living next to you, because we're participating in the system that's quantified this time, we're all kind of like working for each other, like in a country.
Although it doesn't always feel that way, does it?
No, it doesn't.
People are sort of working for themselves a little bit. Interestingly, so I went and just like did some random searches for money-related subjects on Google. And like when you search money on Google, or just the word money on Google or on YouTube, you find a staggering number of results that are just how to make more money.
Yeah.
It's either like people who have already made a lot of money showing it off, like gangster rappers and shit like that, like music videos that are completely, like, in my opinion, like not worth your time at all. Or like different ways of like how to make money, how to save money, like how to improve your personal money situation.
Because people really want to learn how to make money.
Yeah.
And they idolize people because of the social order that do make money.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what do you think that our selection is kind of based on money now?
Oh yeah, I mean,
it's
in part, anyways, for sure.
I mean, technology is playing like a huge role in evolution now, and I think that money is like just another like invention, like it's another technology.
Oh yeah, money is for sure technology. I mean, money is imbued with technology for sure now, man. Like everything, all money is digital pretty much now.
Yeah.
So
even the appearance of having money, like what you're talking about in those music videos,
Mm-hmm.
even the appearance of having money is like going to make you like a more more favorable, like in selection.
Maybe
You know,
so.
that's
hey?
the way that I think about. That's the way that I think about it. Like when I see it,
Yeah,
it might be false, but like still, if you can like broadcast that shit and make people think that you are making lots of money, then
I think that it's still like it really depends on the people that you're broadcasting that to. Of course, you know, like if you get it out there and into the world that like make it known that you have like I have lots of money. That doesn't necessarily mean that every single person who receives that message is going to be like, oh yeah, this guy's great, we should hang out with him.
But it's a law of averages, right? You might catch. It's a trap.
I mean, yeah. I think that there are a lot of people who are definitely receptive to that kind of company.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to be around people who have money, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's not uncommon at all.
Yeah, I mean, like you can be misguided and think that that somebody with like lots of money will like be better than a quality relationship. But I don't know. Like I don't hang around with super rich people. I don't know if they are actually great. Maybe they're great.
Yeah. I mean, I've met people who are pretty wealthy that are really cool people and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I've also maybe not met, but I've definitely seen people who make lots and lots of money who definitely don't seem like they're very cool and that I would want to hang out with them. Like I don't really think that a lot of rich people are the kind of company that I would want to have around, quite honestly.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you think about it, like either they're super rich because they're working really hard. They deserve that money.
Like Elon Musk.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like Elon Musk is no time for you as a friend.
Yeah.
Right? Or it's somebody that really, really doesn't deserve it and it disgusts you.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. There's a bit of a diametry, isn't there, between love of money and hate of money. Like there's almost like there's less of a middle ground there, and maybe that's because of the division of wealth. But I feel like there are people who are all about money, and maybe they're tied up in greed, or for whatever reason they just really like money. And there are people who like kind of demonize it and see it as this thing like that is sort of evil almost. You know what I mean? Like, oh, if I make money, then I'll just become this awful person or whatever. And so they like develop this almost like a neurosis towards money where they think that it's the mo money, mo problems.
I did that like rebelliously, counterculturally, about dressing like I had money.
Oh yeah.
I always dressed like super, super down. I don't know if it was about like going to Catholic school, but I was always very proud of the fact that I, didn't care about how I dressed. Yeah. I literally wore a homeless person's coat for like years and years and years. It was like my prized
I had a hobo jacket too, actually.
Yeah. And, like and the flannel and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah, big time.
Mm-hmm. Hey, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. We've got a sponsor on Apes on Tape now.
Yeah, our sponsor is Monetrol.
Yeah, Monetrol, the makers of borrowed money. They've sent us an ad.
Yeah, and we're gonna give it to you now.
I think it's gonna be great. I used to be totally broke. There was no way for me to buy my happiness. Before I started using borrowed money, I was broke, alone, and exchanging sexual favors for food. Most days I could put on a brave face and muddle through, but other days I still struggled with my utter pennilessness. I was managing, but it always had a way of creeping up on me. I felt stuck. I just couldn't shake being broke as hell. So I talked to my doctor. He said that adding borrowed money to supplement tricking myself out for McDonald's could help with being broke, and that some people had seen improvement in their symptoms as early as 1 to 2 weeks after getting Mo money. He also told me about a trial offer from Monetrol, the makers of borrowed money, where I could buy 20 whole dollars for only 5 easy payments of $5.99, plus shipping and handling and service charges. And now I feel more in control of being virtually useless.
Money is not for everyone, unless it's borrowed money. Call your doctor if your broke ass gets broker, or if you have unusual changes in behavior or thoughts of suicide. Borrowed money can increase these problems in children, teens, and young adults. Elderly dementia patients with money have an increased risk of buying useless crap that nobody wants. Call your doctor if you have high fever, stiff penis, and gender confusion, as these could become permanent. High blood pressure has been reported with borrowed money and other financial instruments like it. In some cases, extreme high blood pressure can lead to sexual arousal, death, or both. Other risks include decreases in common sense, which can be serious, dizziness upon standing, being fucked to death, seizures, trouble swallowing, or impaired judgment.
Being a broke motherfucker used to define me. Then my doctor added borrowed money to my life. Now I feel so much better.
If you are still struggling with being dirt poor, talk to your doctor to see if the option of borrowed money is right for you. And be sure to ask about the trial offer. Please note that the trial offer varies from customer to customer and may cost anywhere between $20,000 and $5,000. Monetrol is not responsible for any injury or loss on the part of the borrower, even if proven to be directly at fault. Monetrol, money for all.
So let's play a little. Do you want to play a little game, or do you want to talk more philosophy?
Do I want to play a game?
Yeah. Well, I know.
How long is this game going to take?
I don't really know.
What's the play time? How many players?
It's two players, obviously. So, anyways, I have a little game. It's called Can It Be Money, where we talk about the properties of what constitutes a good currency. And
dog shit.
Yeah, actually, dog shit is on my list.
Oh shit!
For sure, yeah.
Nailed it.
You read my mind.
All right.
So you can pass. You can pass on any of these.
Otherwise, I have to answer as to how I can use it as money.
No, well, you're just like we see whether or not like this thing would be a good currency, and we just sort of talk about it given the criteria. That's it. You're like, if you don't want to talk about dog shit as money because you think it's like too silly or something like that, you can just pass on it. We've got like a list of stuff.
All right, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So here are the properties of money, right? One is that it has to be portable.
Okay.
Yeah. That means that it's rare.
So this is like ratings, like portability rating.
Well, it just has to meet
rating.
these criteria in like bullet form, kind of. So portable, it has to be portable. It has to be rare. It has to be easily divisible, like I was talking about with the war.
But all of those things they're not black and white. They're all like, they exist on a scale. Like you can be kind of portable or more portable or less portable.
Well, let's say if it's like 50% not, if it's below 50% portable, we'll be
portability
like,
rating of 3.1.
Yeah, well, we'll just do switches for any of them.
Let's just move on
like,
to
for example, we could be like, dog shit's not that portable. Would you want to carry it around? It
depends. Is it dry and polished?
If it's... See, therein lies the game. This is what we're doing. So anyways, it's uniform, it's durable, it's acceptable, it's intrinsically valuable. Like if you gave jewelry to somebody.
Most money today isn't intrinsically valuable. I don't think that's a very accurate definition.
Today it's very much not, but like historically, like for example, gold is intrinsically valuable. Okay. That means that you can take it, like say if you
I know what you mean. I know what intrinsically valuable means.
Say if you had some seashells that were branded with your king's seal. Okay. Right? And you took those outside your nation and you wanted to trade them with like the Mahaka people. I'm making them up unless they're real. So like somewhere you look up the Mahaka people. And so you take
I'm going to Google that later.
No, you better.
Fact checking and shit.
Yeah. I mean, we clearly don't fact check enough. So anyways, if you take a seashell imbued with your king's seal outside of your kingdom, it's not valuable because that's only valuable within your kingdom. It's intrinsically valuable within your kingdom, but it's not intrinsically valuable without, and it's not acceptable elsewhere, right? But if you brought some gold outside the kingdom, then somebody would be like, oh shit, like shiny, that's like so fucking cool, or like a cool rock or something like that. So that's intrinsically valuable. And then it has to be durable, and then it has to be uniform. So it's kind of like the same everywhere. That's what makes good money. So we're just going to go through this list. Like pennies. Like, do you think that pennies are good money?
Not anymore.
Yeah, definitely not, because they're not...
You have to carry a shit ton of them around with you. They're not portable anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. They're also not like intrinsically valuable because
it's just copper.
Yeah, because the copper that's used to make the pennies is not even worth the value of the penny.
Not anymore.
Or no, sorry, the copper that's used to make the pennies is more valuable than the actual believed value of the penny. Yeah.
Oh wow, that actually surprises me.
Yeah, that's why they got rid of them.
Oh.
But we could do more fact checking. What do you think could be used as money?
Sexual favors.
Sexual favors is on this list. Okay, but like one reason I don't think that sexual favors could be used as money is they're not scarce.
They are for some.
Yeah, I guess it depends on who you are. But like, I mean, it would kind of devalue sexual favors, I feel like, if it was like currency.
But you don't think sexual favors have been devalued enough by money already?
Yeah.
I think they kind of already have.
They might have been. Well, they're definitely tradable for money. They're at a dollar value, for sure.
Yeah. Well, everything is. That's actually one of the points that I wanted to make. Is kind of interesting. Is that this phenomenon of money in society, in human society, has made it so that everything can be exchanged for anything else. Like everything can kind of have like a set value set to it, and it can be compared. Everything is comparable.
Yeah.
So you can literally buy friends and like, well, certain kinds of love anyways.
You can buy a family in Japan.
Yeah. All things are reduced to economic value and compared to one another. So, for example, is your friendship with me worth roughly the same as what? A nice car? Or like, what would you trade money-wise for a friendship, or for something that you think should have intrinsic value that's not monetary?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think something like a friendship is very, very difficult to like quantify.
It is, but I think people would
like the quality of friendships that I have, I don't think that I could like rent in Japan. Although you can technically rent a friend.
No, but if somebody came up to you and they were like, "Hey, man, I'll give you $3 billion if you stop hanging out with that asshole Jeremy."
$3 billion?
$3 billion.
Yeah, in a heartbeat, I would.
There
stop
you go.
hanging out
Okay,
with
now
you.
let me try lowering it. All right, 3 million.
3 million? Yeah.
300,000.
300,000. How long do I have to not hang out with you?
No, like this is forever. This is we're no longer friends.
Man, what I would then do with the money is I'd maybe like invest it and give you some of it. But I guess I could never see you again.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't be able to. We have no contact.
300,000. Man, I feel like really on the spot right now.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it?
This is like a crazy. This game has gone crazy.
Yeah, we can continue with the next one. Let's keep going.
Yeah. But yeah, no, you saw me getting hesitant at 300,000.
Yeah, so now I know roughly where we stand. It's not bad.
I'm like, wait a minute, come on, man. At that point, because there was two numbers where I was like, oh yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, I'd probably say the same, quite honestly. I mean, like,
so we're around. Actually, you know what? We're around like $300,000.
Honestly, though, like,
that's
now
pretty
that
good.
Thinking about it, I think that if I were to trade, like, if I were to say like to this guy, like, all right, for $3 million, give it to me, and I'll never hang out with Bryn again. I'd take my $3 million and I would start doing all kinds of cool shit with it, but there would always be this thing at the back of my head bothering me that, like, man, you're a fucking sellout.
But
like, you traded your friendship.
You don't know that because it's a hypothetical. Obviously.
That's true.
I'm a big believer, and you don't really know what you would do in that situation until you're actually
there. It's
you would
100%
be
true.
way too busy having fun on yachts with like beautiful women.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not the kind of person that like goes after that kind of shit.
Just like really, just ones that like to be on yachts and don't really like you.
Yeah, that sounds like kind of a shit time to me, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess. I guess that's the point, right?
Yeah.
You never really know. Like, people want genuine connections.
I think that's really important,
and that's
I think that if you forego that for the sake of money, and at that point that is kind of a move based on greed more than anything. And if you're doing that, then the knowledge of having done that will kind of haunt you, I think.
I don't think that it'll haunt certain people. I think
certain people.
I think that psychopaths make lots of money because they don't really care about people. They have that they have that compassionate part of their brain missing. Where
you mean like Edward Bernays?
Yeah, where these things, they don't have value. What was that one guy that bought that like life-saving pharmaceutical company? And then started charging like $100 a pill or some shit like that.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That wasn't Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It was Tom Hanks. I'm not good with names.
Yeah, me neither, obviously. I mean, but there was this guy, and we could fact check it later. But he went on a deposition, and he was just like this clearly an evil psychopath, right? But he's like a bazillionaire because he found a thing that people need, and he's charging like 100 times the price for it. He bought it just because he knew that like the demand was high enough because like people needed their fucking life-saving
I feel like more than one person has done that.
No, I'm saying that America is probably like, and Canada is probably like rife
based on that kind of shit.
Rife with psychopaths. Like,
oh yeah.
What is it, like 1 in every 100 people is like a complete psychopath?
I don't know the stats.
Where they, you know, if they saw two, okay. I mean, we could talk about psychopathy later, but they won't let anybody stand in their path to power. Usually, like, human relationships are like valuable enough so that you don't like abandon them for some sort of like arbitrary price where you have just like freedom to choose whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, okay.
And it doesn't really help you learn or grow. It's just shit that you want.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, in a greedy way.
So, I don't know if you want to keep on going with this game or not.
Totally. Endangered clams.
Endangered clams. Nah, endangered clams. They're rare. They're also, like, stinky.
Yeah.
And
Makes
they
them less portable.
deteriorate.
They're probably
They'll devalue really fast. Like the amortization rate on endangered clams would be fucking phenomenally huge.
they're probably not acceptable or like intrinsically valuable. Maybe they don't taste good.
Yeah, they probably taste alright.
Yeah.
But some people wouldn't even value them for that.
What about cryptocurrency, like on that scale?
Well, of course, cryptocurrency can be used as money. It's already being used as money.
Yeah.
And it's being used as money fairly well, I feel like.
But it's about, I mean, we keep on coming back to, cryptocurrency is portable. It's rare because it's enforced that it's rare.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely divisible because of the internet. It's durable because it's secure and it's uniform. But the acceptability is like the problem. I mean, it does have intrinsic value now, but central banks don't control it. And so that's why the speculation is up and down.
Yeah.
Is because
it's unstable because of that.
You can't really get like a loan with Bitcoin. You can't really get like pay for a mortgage with Doge.
Yeah.
Or
is Doge actually one of the currencies?
Yeah, Doge is like a currency. It's obviously like not as valuable as Bitcoin. Ethereum and Bitcoin,
are like the top two?
I would say are the top two.
Yeah.
And they're intrinsically valuable though. Ethereum's really intrinsically valuable because it has a dual purpose as a currency and as like a ledger. Like you can have contracts like written into the code of your like Ethereum.
Interesting.
Yeah, like every chain in Ethereum is apparently like you can make a business contract in Ethereum where you pay the amount and they don't get that money unless they keep the terms of that contract,
because it's actually like coded into the structure of the money.
Yeah, coded into the structure of the money, and because it's blockchain, so it's like double verified like everywhere on like these decentralized servers.
Yeah.
Because it's replicated everywhere and it's not all in one central place, it gives it that sense of permanence. So basically you have these like pretty binding contracts.
Mm-hmm.
And what my friend was telling me is that it could kind of replace like legal notarization, like notarized documents.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I kind of feel like everything is eventually going to become just more and more computerized.
Well,
where like all stuff is just going to be in the code,
One reason that I don't think that this is going to happen is the same reason that I'm skeptical of crypto, because by its definition, cryptocurrency, and I hope somebody changes my mind, but cryptocurrency by its nature is decentralized. What governments and legal systems and banks do together in their nations is they centralize things.
Yeah.
They centralize all the power in one place. If it's decentralized, then they don't really have any power and they have no control over it.
So it's impossible to make a cryptocurrency that's centralized. Like if the government were to create a code-based monetary system or a monetary instrument, it wouldn't be cryptocurrency anymore, or like what?
Well, they have it already. It's like credit card and like debit networks, and like banks sending money to each other electronically.
But I thought what gave cryptocurrency its value was that it was basically unbreakable code. Like your money is like essentially what it is code.
It's code. It's code for everybody. That's very secure. It's a way that we could have money ourselves if we existed outside of nations, for sure, with the same technology and infrastructure.
But so the banks,
it would work well as money.
Yeah, it would. But the banks that nations have, like they don't have currency like that.
They're the established part. Yeah, they do. They have digital currency. 98% of all transactions in the world are not done with cash.
No, I know, but that digital currency isn't the same as cryptocurrency because it's not coded the same way. It's just literally numbers on the screen, is it not? It's not. It doesn't get its value.
It's not coded the same way.
Yeah.
It's very secure networks of.
It's the networks that are secure, not the code of the currency itself.
They can use blockchain technology. They can use the same technology to make it more secure and store it. They can use blockchain technology. It's just that these are decentralized networks for and like a product of currency exchange.
Mm.
That works outside of those institutions currently. So yeah.
Well,
that's the thing about like the banks and the law and the governments, they they legitimize everything. They legitimize everything. And you know what's really fucked up about credit is that, I mean, credit runs everything. We have to give each other credit, as I said before. Yeah, we have to give each other credit, as I said before. But, you know, when you take out a loan against something to get money with your truck, right, and you don't make those payments, you're not good for it, essentially. They'll come in, they'll take your truck away. But when the banks are, like, not good for it, they give out, you know, they take so much money. They take so much money, but they're, like, not good for it. They're, like, rotten to the core.
Yeah.
They don't get taken away.
Well, yeah,
like their assets don't get taken away.
Yeah, the people who have a lot of wealth already are much more protected and able to keep their wealth in a lot of different ways. Mm-hmm. There's a really good documentary. Basically, I think the one thing that I watched in all my research that I would recommend to our audience is this documentary called "Requiem for the American Dream," which is a talk by Noam Chomsky. And it talks about like all these principles that sort of hold up the quote-unquote American dream, which has become this society where banks and financial institutions and corporations have usurped like basically all of the real financial and economic and political power in the country, and sort of keep everybody else, you know, down below them. Like they're the ones floating on the surface of the water, and we're the flotation device. Yep. Right. That's kind of
there's only so much of a pie.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to make sure that other people are getting less of it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to wrap this up, or do you want to say?
I've got a couple of closing questions.
Sure.
Just things that I did want to touch on at some point. One was, do you think that money should be distributed evenly or disproportionately throughout society? Do you believe in financial equality in society?
I believe that it should be distributed disproportionately in the sense that people need to be able to deserve money, but I also think that that's not incompatible with it being distributed evenly through things like universal basic income. Mm-hmm. That's an even distribution of wealth. That somebody running for president in 2020 is actually like, there's a president running, the American president running in 2020. I forget his name. But one of his major things is universal basic income. Wow. And I think that Chinese communism, like, it's not really communism, but I think that is socialist and that works. Yeah. And they also have elements of free enterprise, but, you know.
I mean, yeah, I think the idea of like a base, like a minimal base income is good, but I also don't think that money should be like 100%, you know, evenly distributed. Mm-hmm. Just because there are people out there who are pretty irresponsible with their money. Honestly, I think a lot of people who have a lot of money are very irresponsible with their money, and they should be maybe not. Like, I think that if money is to be distributed disproportionately, it should be based on people's ability to use that money in a way that's beneficial.
Yeah, like, and if you don't, here's the thing. I read a book, Atlas Shrugged, where the people that talk in it are like libertarian idols, these fictional characters. And one of the things that I took away from the book is that if you don't deserve your money, you will eventually lose it, right? And so even these rich trust funder people, because they're taxed so much on their equity, right? Like the government will eventually like take everything from you and then hopefully redistribute it into social services and things like that, right? But people that have a lot of money are taxed more, and they're always sheltering it or whatever. But the thing is that the best thing that they can do is invest it in people that are actually doing good things.
Yeah.
To keep the money liquid, so that it's actually like their money is serving to society, so that makes money. Like that's the idea. Like I don't think it always happens like that, but I think if rich people that weren't actually deserving of their money don't do that, if they don't give it to somebody else who is, then they'll lose it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if that's necessarily how that always works, quite honestly.
Yeah, but I mean that's the ideal. That's like what I hope for.
Yeah, it would be good if society ended up working that way. I mean, we could honestly quite honestly discuss that for a long time, I feel like. But I want to move on to the next question.
Okay.
The next question is, do you think that money can buy love or happiness?
I think it buys comfort. I don't think that it buys happiness.
Really?
Yeah. I think that you can be comfortable and not happy.
See, I think there are different kinds of happiness, and I think that the sort of more superficial forms, like ephemeral forms of happiness, could be bought. You know, it's like if you're not able to afford anything, and you're like sort of really down in the dumps, you're homeless and whatever, you have no money. You know, there's a lot of misery involved in that. And if you have money, if you have the ability to buy things,
poverty doesn't buy happiness.
Well, I'm not saying
it definitely does
obviously
not even come.
Not really the argument at all. I don't know. I think that money can buy happiness to a certain extent, but it can't buy lasting happiness, and to a large extent, it also produces a habit pattern in the mind where people think that, oh well, because I got this buzz from getting this thing, I'm just going to keep doing this, and they just pursue more money, and then it becomes a dangerous thing where it's just like pursuit of money.
Because you'll get
itself.
You won't necessarily be pursuing happiness. You've forgotten the reason that you even take credit in the first place.
Yeah.
Anyways, this has been Apes on Tape.
Yeah, this is our second episode.
It's been really cool hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, it's been great.
And I wish you lots of money and happiness.
Mostly money.
Peace out.
See it.
We're going to take a break to... fuck.
See how easy that is to do the first try?
Yeah, fuck you. So...
Call your doctor if you have high fever, stiff penis, and gender confusion.
Get through it. Do it. Go on, do it.
Call your doctor if you have high fever, stiff penis. I'm laughing because you're laughing.
Just fucking do it, you son of a bitch.
Gender confusion. Gender confusion, as these can become permanent. High blood pressure has been reported with borrowed money and other financial instruments like it. In some cases...